beginning with a traditional tea, Camellia sinensis, but a different version. Then some comes in a puck from Yunnan province in China, which is right by the Himalayas. High mountain, good country, generally old trees from hundreds to 1,000 years old. This one is aged for 20 years. It's called the Dewy Peak. Just break off a little chunk. Break it up a little. It's going to want a proper boiling water, but not totally rolling boil. I believe 209. You can look that up. So the water's been boiled and then it's just sitting for a second. Which is okay. And so with the Pu-erh, we will rinse it. People say to awaken the tea. Tea to awaken yourself, awaken the tea. And about a 30-second rinse should do. I forgot, I've been saving the extra, or the first rinse that most people get rid of. It has a lot of tannins in it as part of the deal. It'll rinse out a lot of the caffeine and a lot of the tannins, which don't taste good. People don't like them, but kombucha does. So I'm saving mine to give to some kombucha. You can see that first rinse. Be kind of light. And it gets an amber, almost citrine, sort of like a slight red to it. And again, that's going to get out a lot of the tannins that sit in your mouth and taste bad. And they say to awaken the tea, 20 years this has been aged. It's a fermentation process, which actually makes the tea better. They get better with age, sort of like a fine wine. And so I'll drink the second steep, and every time you do it, about 30 seconds I'll do it. It's a pretty quick rinse on this, but you can do it 4 or 5 times if you want to do it throughout the day. It's really good with meals. Really is helpful for digestion. And I find one of the easiest teas to drink. I can't drink a lot of black teas on an empty stomach, but Pu-erh I can, and if I've had a lot of food, helps digestion. Drink it on an empty stomach, very drinkable. Just wonderful. And good energy in it. It's very awakening. And yet there's a lot of extra minerals. There's a lot of wonderful things. There's theobromine in it. There's all kinds of, I think, magnesium, maybe calcium and magnesium. A lot of things that help you relax. And this aged tea was traditionally for the kind of the ruling class people, the sitting around and running the show people. And maybe if you work the fields, you would do more a traditional green tea. It's more energy, but this one doesn't get me fluttery. It's a much calmer, cleaner energy than most green and black teas, where it never gets jittery and heart pounding. You just kind of get really a clean energy from it. So that's the second rinse. It looks darker there than it kind of is. It's still fairly light, but it is a black tea. Very earthy, especially with the aging process. Then you can really smell and taste what was in the dirt at that place and time. This one's Dewy Peak. It's quite earthy, but does feel more like a rocky mountaintop than this Shenqi back here with the mosses and ferns and smelling is important. You'll activate all kinds of things in your brain through aromatherapy that are different than when you're ingesting the thing. The rosemary over here will help your memory just by smelling it in different ways than if you ingest it. I just feel like the blowing it makes it complete elementally. You got the water and the earth and the fire, and just needs a little air. I'm gonna steep this again just so you get used to the idea and to show you how the third steep comes out. A lot of times the third steep is the strongest. The swirling really helps to get the goodness out. Put a little goodness in, but really, really both. This is more a traditional style cup, especially if you're drinking it straight, Chinese tea ceremony style. Then you have these little cups that don't hold the heat as much and are much easier to drink little amounts. Just tiny and unglazed, just sippable. This is more classical Pu-erh pot. They do the unglazed, and some people have different ones for different teas, so you can taste the difference. But working with what we got and how I've been doing it. Starting the channel, how I start my day. And yeah, you can kind of see that it's a bit darker. Still a good cup of tea, and you can re-steep that generally 4 or 5 times or more, depends. And I like to add different teas to it as I go. You see it's pretty dark, rich, earthy, wonderful. And so that's introduction to Pu-erh. Tea time. Cheers.